apparently, Republicans are just shocked, aghast, dismayed at comments made in a New York Times interview last week by Representative Steve King from Iowa. In the interview, King said, "When did white nationalism and white supremacy become such offensive terms?" The thing is, this isn't a shock to anybody. If you are familiar with Steve King, you know what he's about. So the Republic, so of course it caused a firestorm, and a lot of Democrats came out and condemned it, and Republicans came out. The third person in line in the Republican House hierarchy, Liz Cheney, came out, condemned it. But the thing is, Steve King has a history of this, right? And just recent examples. Back in 2016, during the presidential election, he said that all the positive contributions to Western civilization been made by white people, and that the subgroups, as he called them, have done very little. And of course, this came after he was railing against immigration. Immigration seems to be a real big issue for him, a real big problem. Let me rephrase: not immigration, brown immigration, black immigration. He often retweets European white nationalist groups. There was one dude, I believe, from the Netherlands, he retweeted about a year and a half ago. And when this was brought to his attention, he didn't apologize. He doubled down. Of course, the press was trying to get the benefit of the doubt, but he knew who the dude was. He made a comment that we can't uphold Western civilization or continue it with other people's babies, meaning black and brown people. He, in fact, when he made a similar statement like that about a year ago, Ben Shapiro came to his defense. Now, of course, Ben Shapiro is kind of backtracked a little bit and go, "Oh, well, maybe I was wrong." Yeah, duh. Like, that's a shock. But he also made a comment probably about 6 or 7 months ago, I believe it was on CNN, where he said Mexicans are pouring across the border weighing 130 pounds with calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling drugs. The thing is, after each of these idiotic, ignorant-ass statements, he has never been truly reprimanded. There's always been a Republican or two come out and decry it. Paul Ryan never censored him, though. Never once. He would come out and make the general, "There's no place for this in the Republican Party." Even though there's a nice little niche carved out in the Republican Party for that. And if you want to now get offended at me or rail against me for saying that, bring it on. I don't care. It's true. Because this is part of my problem. Republicans are coming out now because this is really an indefensible statement. There's no way to kind of try to spin it or dance around it. So now they're coming out condemning this guy, acting like they're shocked that he would say such things. He has been saying this shit for years. I give you examples for the last couple of years. This dude's been in Congress since 2007. This is not shock. This is what he does. This is what things he says. This is what he believes. So now for them to come out and act all shy, Mitch McConnell release a statement about how there's no place for this in the Republican Party. Oh, please. And how he should find a new line of work. And they had a vote of 424 to 1 condemning white nationalism and white supremacy, which I don't know what the fuck that means. Because unless you're going to actually implement policies to curb it, where there is still systematic racism that goes on in this country, and that is undeniable. So if you want to deny it, please do, because I would love to debunk it. Please comment and do. I would love to debunk it. Unless you're going to do that, I don't know what this vote meant. But the problem is, for me, Republicans railing against Steve King is just bullshit. Because while I'm glad they did it and they stripped him of all his committee assignments, including the Judicial Committee, which I don't know why he was on that in the first place, it just kind of rings hollow to me. It seems very cursory to me, because this dude has been doing this for years and there's never been anything done about it. And as someone on a few people, in fact, on my Facebook timeline pointed out, most of them Republican, the President of the United States, the current president, just so we're clear, has said similar things. Actually has arguably said more offensive things. I mean, let's go back to Charlottesville when he said there was good people on both sides, and he literally tried to morally equate Nazis with people who were protesting them. And nothing is said. And this whole idea, well, this has in place in the Republican Party, the Republicans have been using racism and racial tension as currency forever. I mean, the Southern strategy was literally built around Nixon's law and order crap that Trump also tried to echo literally propagates it. So I don't know where this idea that that has no place in the Republican Party. Yeah, actually it does. I mean, the alt-right is there now, and you can pretend like, oh, that's just some fringe, we have nothing to do with them. But I would remind you that Stephen Miller's creepy hairline receding ass is in the White House now. He is a top advisor to the president, so I don't understand what the hell they mean by that. So, look, Steve King is what he is. He's a piece of shit. I mean, he was challenged pretty hard in his last midterm election, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's talk about Republicans, they'll find somebody to primary him. Well, they can try, but I'm not gonna sit here and say that I'd be shocked. That I would be shocked if he is not reelected in 2020. Because the problem is, the people in his district know his politics. They know his stances. They still support him. So to me, that's something that Republicans need to look inward about, because they have a president who is very close to echoing the same things, and they support him full-throatedly. So it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for this video. Please go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Visit me on my Patreon page at patreon.com/RobBeasley. On my blog at robbase2110-ezel.blogspot.com, or at any of my social media sites at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram under robbase2110. And remember, ignorance is a choice, so be informed, be aware. Knowledge is essential, facts matter. Until next time, see ya.